record. And we are recording. Thank you all for your patience. There was a little bit of tech difficulty today, so we are recording this meeting and we invite the guests that are able to come through Zoom who are attending tonight. This is the January 21st A.P.M.A board meeting. We will call the meeting to order. Matt Lederer, our secretary, is taking attendance. We do not have any guest attendees that are addressing the board this evening. Is that correct? Okay. We always begin each meeting with a reading of the mission. Appleton Public Montessori seeks to nurture the full potential of every child through the presence of the Montessori philosophy in all learning environments, encouraging intrinsic motivation and instilling a love of learning now and for a lifetime. I will ask for unanimous consent of approval from the last meeting minutes. Hearing no objection, we will approve the meeting from last minutes. I will ask for approval of today's agenda. I will ask for unanimous consent for approval of today's agenda. Hearing no objection, I will move to approve today's agenda. We do not have any guest speakers tonight. And I will invite our admin, Cassie Gilbo, to give her admin update.
Thank you. Well, obviously, we've started with some students in person this week, so it's been a wonderful week. Already learning some of the things that we want to make adjustments to. So just really appreciate all of your support in starting in this phased-in approach. I don't have much for you today. I just wanted to share our metrics on what we're looking at for moving from phase to phase. Can I share my screen, Stephanie?
You should be able to, but hold on just a second to make sure. Yes, you can share your screen.
Great, thank you. So here are the things that we're considering for our phase changes. And again, we're looking at every 3 weeks, but if we wanted to move faster or slower, we would consider these things. Our staffing report would be our sub failures, and that means if we have teachers or paras who are unable to come in, if we have a failure to fill that role. Our district has supported every school, and we do have a designated sub. Our sub is Megan Rutveen, so we've been appreciating her already. We have an attendance report that we look at, the absences for in-person and absences for virtual, our technology report, glitches that have affected instruction, qualitative notes as well. Our academics, our iReady results, our iReady results will come February 1st through the 19th. So already filling that in, we don't have any yet. Mental health considerations, panorama results are coming soon, but we don't have any yet. Other qualitative notes, we do have some families expressing needs to come in as soon as possible, and all of those families' needs and questions have been addressed, and teachers and staff are working with each family. And then if we have any closures, so if a classroom is closed or a school is closed. So those are the things we're considering for moving from phase to phase. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Are there any questions? And I can't see if there's hands up or anything. So if Stephanie, maybe if you can tell if there's any questions.
Yeah, I'm kind of scrolling through everybody real quick as well.
About how many students are in right now?
We have about 20 students in.
And Tiana, you have a question.
Yes, I do. So are all of these different reports that you're looking at weighted differently, or you're just kind of trying to take like the whole picture when you're looking at all of this?
Yeah, just trying to take in the different aspects that we think are important. I think it's going to be, if something's standing out, it might, move us to go quicker or move us to slow down, but nothing, we don't have weights on them right now.
Okay, thank you.
And would you remind us of the dates? So we've started phase 2, and then phase 3 expected to be starting
February 8th.
Okay.
And then the final phase is March 1st.
And we don't have, just to remind us all, because December seems like a while ago. And I know you've been working really hard, and the staff as well, to make sure all of the specifics are being worked out. We don't have caps on the numbers for phase 2 and 3, or do we just have rough estimates? So you said there's 20 in now, phase 3. Do we have
Right.
numbers?
No. So just kind of feeling it out and trying to meet the needs of everyone, and appreciating families being patient, and also appreciating families who are letting us know if they have a need.
Thank you. And I really do. I know that the staff has been teaching full-time as well as planning out the schedules full-time. Appreciate the work that the staff and the teachers are doing, and you. And everyone's having to kind of figure this all out as we move. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, any other updates, Kathy?
Nope, none for me. Thank you.
All right. We will
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I had a quick question. Can you hear me? I don't know if I. Okay. I was just curious, if families are going to be in that February, that next slot, when would they be notified by?
I think we talked about the first week or next week we would tell them, so they have a couple weeks to know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So Cassie,
Derek.
I guess I would have one question. If we are notifying, let's say giving the parents a 2-week notice, to me, then the likelihood of us moving faster in a phase is probably non-existent, right? You have 1 week of how things are going, notify them for moving into the next one. So we would probably anticipate staying on this type of a schedule. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think the schedule was a well thought out schedule. That being said, families come to us with all different needs and desires and abilities. And I know that Nicole and Ashley, as the 2 staff members here, would also say that, just coming into this first phase, there was maybe once in a while a short notice, and a family was willing to either come in or say, no, we can't. So we're just really trying to work with each family. But I think you're right, Derek. I think the trajectory that we're on is a good one. I really appreciate it. Like, we can already see how this has helped us in this very short week already, learn the things that we wanted to learn, and already make changes that are important, so that when more students come in, we'll be more efficient and more safe. And but I don't know if that makes it muddier or not, Derek.
I just think a clear expectation for maybe those that were hoping for a potential of this being, expedited or accelerated, to say, all right, well, if we give parents a 2-week notice, that's only 1 week to kind of evaluate the current phase, if it's going well or not, doesn't leave a lot of room to move things up. So I think just setting that expectation would be important, that we plan to stay on schedule unless something happens, which that was all 2020. So hopefully 2021 is better.
I hope so too.
Move forward in 2021. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, we will move to steering updates. So from the president's standpoint, steering will be looking to review, to start its review of the handbook in the next month. This was our planned summer goal, or a goal that we set for ourselves to do this year in the summer. We're going to start that process and see how far we can get through the handbook. The handbook is our processes guidelines for how we execute our bylaws, if that's the easiest way I can describe it. So look for that work in the next month. I just want to recommend again, I'm kind of going into communication processes right now. We do recommend that you use your board email for communication. Your board email is part of A.P.M.'s public record and can be requested by formal or informal request. Folks were interested in knowing if you're doing that work on your personal devices matters. If you're checking email on your personal device, it seems to be that the short answer is that your email is public, that you use for board docs, but your device is probably not, unless it's a district-owned device. But please let us know if you have questions or concerns about that. And then along with those lines, we have a structure in which we have committees and chairs and vice chairs. And each committee has one email address, but then two people using it usually. And so we know that there's a little bit of a hiccup there into thinking about how we can support our committees to use the board email address efficiently with two persons. So should we have vice chair emails? How difficult has it been for you to use the board email with two people? If you wouldn't mind sending me feedback on that, that would be something that we could look at putting in our handbook for some guidelines in the future on our communication processes. So I'm just kind of soliciting feedback on what it's like to be in a committee with one email and two people, basically. So just let me know because it can give us some ways to start looking at our processes in terms of communication. And then this is also on communication and inviting the public. I want to clarify a point, a mistake that I made at the last meeting, and I do apologize for any confusion at the December meeting. There was a question asked about the public nature of our committees. So I want to clarify that all of our committees, including steering, are public meetings, and anyone from the community may attend. We are not right now, while we're in virtual mode, live casting all of the subcommittee meetings. It takes a couple of pieces of technology. As you can see tonight, one of them failed. It takes two computers basically from one household to live stream the account. Right now we're not live streaming, but all committees are public and you can attend through a Zoom meeting. Committees may vote at a meeting to go into a closed session. That's in our bylaws if they are discussing a sensitive subject. So to that end, steering meetings and full board meetings are posted on the school calendar. It's important that we need to get our subcommittee meetings on the school calendar as well. So as soon as you have a calendar meeting set for your committee, and we know that it's really difficult this year and that they have changed and it is difficult, please let Jenny Martzel know so that she can put that on our school calendar. And we really appreciate that. And we encourage you to use the Google Classroom to get emails out to the community as reminders for your committee meetings. Okay. Any questions on anything I've said so far in terms of those updates? Okay. And then finally, we talked at our last steering meeting from the steering standpoint. We know that some of our committees really need some volunteer support. In particular, we know that resources needs help from our community and from our community members right now. Resources has been functioning without a co-chair this year. And we know that many of our other committees are looking for support as well right now. So we decided that that's why this meeting, we would move also to a committee work meeting, so that we can spend a lot of time hearing from our committees on their needs and on their goals for this year. And that's all for the president update. I'll turn it over to the vice president update.
So one of the things that we've been tasked with is trying to figure out how to promote A.P.M. in this type of environment. And as we continue to look at the different sources of areas that we try to touch our current community as well as potential community, we notice that there might be a need for some updates there. And one of the things that I think from a time, but also from a professionalism standpoint, that we want to consider is looking at potentially a consultant, maybe on the marketing advertising side, maybe even large fundraising opportunities, large events, what have you. So we're going to start the avenue of bringing in potential consultants just to have them pitch to see if that need is something that A.P.M.A. is looking for. Obviously cost, is that services needed beyond what our community can already go ahead and provide, what kind of contractual obligations there would be. But what I would ask of everybody that's involved tonight is if you have any names of whether it be consultants that would have an education background, nonprofit background, marketing agencies that are obviously preferably local. If you have names, if you can get those to me by the end of the month, because in that way I can be able to bring those together and bring them to the next steering committee to say, yes, we have names, or nope. I already have 2 names that I'm aware of, but I open that up to the community because that'll be, I think, a real big focus for myself for the remainder of the year is how do we continue to raise funds to be able to help Sarah out but can we think bigger than what we've done in the past, but also looking at our print, our social media exposure, how do we target those areas to give us the diversification that we need to continue to expand our school, right? And that's where maybe bringing somebody else in that's a professional in that aspect would be very helpful. So please provide me those names by the end of the month if you have any, and you can email them to, of course, the proper email address. So thank you.
Thank you. Dan is unable to be here tonight for the treasurer's update, so that will be linked to our public meeting documents and emailed out to you. So we will move from the treasurer report to our teacher advisory report. So we'd like to hear from the teachers at this point.
Okay, for Children's House, I know right now with our plan, we have a couple students and stuff in, and again, it's been going well, making sure that obviously we follow all guidelines and stuff and getting that all into place and getting even the students that are in kind of used to that routine a little bit more and hoping that they can help again, be those leaders and stuff too, as we keep on moving through these phases. So it's been nice being able to, at the end of the day too, get out exploring and outside and into the woods. And yeah, we're excited if anybody wanted to come join us and stuff during those to sign up. So we're excited to kind of see some of the children and stuff. So it's been good.
Thank you, Ashley. Nicole?
Can you hear me? Okay. Probably along the same lines as Ashley. E2 has, I don't know, 16 kids in altogether, something around that. So just been, trying to teach all the different protocols, and, it's hard for some of these kids who they're used to moving around the classroom, and now they kind of have to take a step back from that in a way and be creative in how they can still move and still do their Montessori work and those kinds of things. So just working together with them on that, and yeah, just trying to instill some leadership in the ones that we have in right now so that they can help with the ones going forward. So it's been good.
Thank you. Thank you. We will move then. I'm sorry, are there questions? I didn't even ask for questions for Derek or the teachers, so I apologize. Okay, a quiet January bunch today. I will move to committee updates, and can somebody remind me who's first? Do we go in a specific order? Hold on, I will get this.
It's basically alphabetical. So community goes first, and Kayla had contacted me and said they don't have an update. And then it's diversity, and they do have something.
Okay, we will actually, because the point of the meeting is to hear specifically from from each person, even if they didn't send a written update, we will go through each committee because I do know that some committees have very specific community needs right now, and I do want a chance for us to hear that as a whole. So we will go through the order. Community.
We really don't have much of an update. We really it's been just a crazy year for everybody, obviously. I like how the school is offering social opportunities for students and families. So I think that's pretty great. I couldn't do any better than that, that's for sure. So I think the only other things that are really coming up to think about is Montessori Education Week, which I think Diversity had something that they were going to be doing with that. And then Teacher Appreciation Week, which haven't really thought about too much. So if there's anybody that has any ideas with that sort of thing, obviously we want to share our appreciation for the teachers and all their hard work this year. So yeah, and we're happy to support any needs as well. We have, I know, well, we'll hear from Diversity too, but I do have some supplies that we used last year, and if there's anything I can do with that, so let me know.
Great, thank you. Diversity.
Sorry, couldn't unmute there for a second. Yeah, basically we're looking at the last week of February, I believe, is the Montessori Appreciation Week, and we were looking at trying to have some kind of event that week that would promote diversity as well as community building, and we're in the very early stages of kind of brainstorming that. Our initial thoughts were maybe to have something that would go over the course of like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning. And we're looking at possibly partnering with Plum Park to set some things up in the park and just have like self-guided tour type thing that families could participate in the park. So, and are we doing like breakouts tonight to work as committees as well? Okay, so we were planning on talking some more about that, maybe getting a theme together so that we can kind of go through there, and definitely looking for volunteers in that, or if other committees want to partner with us, we would love that, just because more hands make lighter work. So, but yeah, so we're kind of looking at coming up with a theme. Sarah Strand is on our committee, and she thought she could possibly get some students or some families to put together some things around that as well. And yeah, so that's kind of, we're just in the very early stages of that, of planning that, but that's kind of our vision for the end of February.
Thank you. And E&E. Extracurricular and
Yep. Hi, this is Heather. I have a question from a parent in the community regarding clubs. If they're willing to host an outside club, do the students have to be masked if it's after school hours?
My understanding is if you're on school grounds, you do, but I can double check.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then Kayla, do you have, is that the only question or do you have an update as well?
That's all we have for now.
Okay.
Yep.
Facilities.
Okay, so the paint a plank was a success. So, thank you to everybody who participated in that. I think Dan, I know he's not here, he would have the numbers, but I think we probably made it, at least $1,500 on it, which is kind of nice that we can put toward any facility stuff that we're doing. So, there's still a couple people I think who need to drop them off. I'll make another email out, but I'll work with Cassie then and we can figure out getting those hung up out there. So when the kids, all of them return, they can come and see all their great artwork. And then, we'll meet tonight with the facilities committee. I want to maybe even have a more formal meeting in the next couple of weeks, but we'll talk about next phases and what we want to work on. I'd like to sort of partner with the teachers, and I had mentioned this to Cassie before. I don't know if we include them maybe in our meeting in the future where we talk about this outdoor learning classroom or learning environment and maybe what the teachers need. I mean, we've got a bunch of great ideas just with our committee, but if it's not helping the teachers or, facilitating their learning, it's kind of pointless. So we want to maybe partner with them and see what we can do to push that along. The other thing is then it's winter. I don't know how much, if it's construction involved, how much we can do really outside as far as, building things. So then we'll, as a committee or even as a board, we can decide, Jenny's space was always on the docket for last year. We had money set aside for that. Do we want to, because it would be interior construction, now we can get in the building. Do we maybe want to, take that on while there's winter months happening? So I think it's sort of a conversation we'll have within our committee, we'll have with the staff and move forward that way. So I guess that's it. That's all we got. Thanks.
Thank you. And resources.
Yeah, so I have been working with Dan. We have a plan to have a meeting next Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30, which I plan to send out to Jenny, as I'll copy you as well, Stephanie, so that we can get that on the calendar in hopes of making a plan for resources long-term as to how we're going to continue to support the school long-term, not just this year. I'm hoping that maybe we can get some community members involved. I'm not as familiar with the silent auction, and it would be great to have someone who has been through it and has some experience, just that I'm not kind of recreating the wheel, as well as to kind of keep along with the same timeline as what A.P.M. has done in the past. I thought maybe it would be a good idea if Michelle is already, if diversity is already working on an event where people are going to be getting together, maybe we could do the silent auction, have a booth set up or something at that same time. I'm not really sure how the silent auction has worked. And of course, I'm still seeking a co-chair for resources. So that's what I'm hoping to talk about during our breakout.
Thank you. And Cassie, do you have any volunteer needs at the school level, I should say?
Yeah, we're looking for some support for the social hour at the end of the day for hikes, as we're anticipating the weather getting better and more people coming, and just some extra supervision. And then we're also looking for some lunch supervision. That would be from 11:10 to 12:10. And we're looking for something that would be consistent. It doesn't have to be every day or even once a week, but if you can give me consistent days, then I can relieve a staff member from that duty, which would, have a great beneficial trickle-down effect to relieve other staff members to have breaks or their own lunch or what have you. Because with the district regulations, we have to have more lunch periods because we can have less students in the lunchroom. So to kind of get all those in is just a longer chunk of time.
Thank you. All right, so we have some volunteering request and we have some needs. Heather, do you have a question?
Sorry, I missed a follow-up question. If we have a club after school hours, not on school grounds, but in Plum Park, can we still advertise it? I hope I said that correctly.
I mean, truthfully, I think that's where it gets sticky if I'm just going to be really
I know.
transparent. Anything coming from the school or a school event is going to invoke the school district regulations. So maybe that's the best way I can say it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, committees. What we'll do now is we'll move to breakout sessions. So we have about a half an hour of work time, which is really nice. I will call for a unanimous consent to adjourn the meeting and then move to breakout rooms. Hearing no objection, I will move to adjourn the meeting.